everyone, and welcome back. If you're new, my name is Cassie Essery, and this is Learn With Us. Today I'm going to be talking about some classroom management tips for Zoom, specifically. Not Google Meets, but Zoom. I do not have it all figured out, let me tell you. I'm learning things every day, and I am constantly having technical difficulties. I'm really discrediting myself right now. But there are some things that I have learned with all of this distance learning that have significantly helped with classroom management. So if you're just starting out in distance learning, or maybe you've been at it a while and you're just looking for some ways to help with classroom management from afar, then this video is for you. So I hope that this helps you, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing, when you're scheduling your meetings, schedule them to recurring, and only have one link. That has made it so much easier for families to find, and it's linked with my Google Calendar, so every day when I go to log on, I just go to my Google Calendar and click the link, and it logs me in, and it saves the password and everything like that, which is just fabulous. So set it as recurring, not a one-time meeting, because otherwise you're gonna have to set a one-time meeting for every single time and then communicate that link with the families, and that is just no one has time for that. Okay, the next thing, I was talking about a password. You can change it. Often passwords are like, letter, number, and they're super confusing and long and weird, but you can just set the password to something simple, like your mascot, or maybe your class pet, or even your name. Something that will be easier for them to type in if they need to do that. Okay, number 3, enable the waiting room. Hallelujah. The waiting room is fabulous, and all I can say is just do it. Just do it. If you don't know what the waiting room is, it is a place where people can go when they log into your meeting, and they can't be let in until you admit them. Now, this is great for 2 reasons. 1, you can let them all in at one time when class starts, which is fabulous because they can be there and be ready, but you don't have to let them in if they're like 15 minutes early or half an hour early to class. You can wait to let them in with everybody else. It's also great because you can customize that to where people can't just be in the meeting without you, the host. So you, the host, the person putting on the meeting, can decide who comes in and who doesn't, which is also great for security reasons, because if somebody somehow gets a hold of your meeting ID or your password, you don't want them just jumping into your meeting and saying or showing who knows what. So that is a great way to keep them safe and keep everything in order. Okay, I got a long list, so I'm gonna try and make this quick. Okay, the next thing is to mute them upon entering. Very important, because no matter when you admit the students into the meeting, if they are not muted, who knows what you could hear? You could hear a really loud dog barking at one time, you could hear the baby crying, or you could hear something else that you don't want everybody to hear. And it just makes it so smooth and like a peaceful transition to start class. By the way, all of this can be set up before the meeting even starts. I know, it's just so cool. Not fangirling. Okay, so another thing you can set up before you start your meeting is to have them show their video when they're entering into the meeting, which I know is kind of the opposite of what we were talking about with muting, but I'm hearing that there are a lot of families who are struggling keeping their video on, and I know that that's hard for teachers because you don't want to talk to a bunch of blank screens. I don't have that problem. Let me clarify. I don't have that problem because the kids want to show their faces. But some kids do not want to show their faces, which you can have your own thing about that. But anyways, you can enable it that they have to start showing their video, because then they're less likely to turn it off, right? Maybe. And if they're young enough like mine, maybe they don't know how to, and that's great. All right, let's chat about the chat. I have mixed feelings, okay? So it's been really useful when I've had technical difficulties, because then I can just type into the chat directions, or hey, I'm gonna turn everything off and please log back on to the families. I've also had some parents answer other technical difficulty questions for other parents during Zoom, which has been so nice. because then I can keep teaching and then they're like helping each other out. So I mainly just enable the chat for the parents and that communication, especially because my kids can't really type. When they do, it's just a bunch of random letters. Like when we pretended to know how to type when we were little, that's what the chat looks like. But then again, I don't love that. I just tell them it's for parents only. You are not allowed to use the chat. But if it's there, and your kids might be just a little older than first grade, it could be an issue. It could be a huge distraction. Kids could be having their own conversation during that time. It could be really difficult. So the point is you can enable the chat and you can disable the chat so that no one can talk. Also, along with chat, if you decide to enable it so that people can talk on there, you can prevent participants from saving the chat. Every time you record a meeting, it saves the chat automatically. But it's important that not everybody has access to saving the chat, especially if, I don't know, maybe this sounds bad. I'm not trying to hide anything, but I know sometimes things go wrong in there and maybe somebody says something inappropriate and you have that documented, but you don't want them to have that documentation and then spread it all over the internet. Because you have the documentation and you can handle it privately with your with that family or with the principal or whoever you need to involve. And that way it stays with just the people who are involved, not everybody in the district. You know what I mean? So if you're teaching older kids, make sure you check that box, preventing students from saving the chat. Okay, another thing that has saved me, not necessarily with classroom management, but this is it's just fabulous. You can have it record automatically. Yes, okay, for like the first week of school, I was struggling to remember to record. And I even had like big Post-its everywhere. Record, record, record. I'd set an alarm. Still, somehow I would forget to record. So now I just have it record automatically and you can pause it. So that's you still have to remember to unpause it, but I've gotten a lot better. Anyways, the point is you can have it automatically record for you, and that is good, my friends. Okay, along with recording, something that has helped me with my teaching and the classroom management is to watch my recordings on occasion. Don't just record and have class and then post it for them, for the people who missed class, and then just forget about it. Actually watch your recordings every once in a while because it is great for reflection on how you're teaching, because most of us this is new for and we don't really know how we're doing. It kind of reminds me of student teaching when we had to record ourselves, and that was so enlightening, and the same as right now. It is so helpful. Anyways, all of that to say, watch your recordings because it could be very helpful for you, the teacher. Okay, so the last thing that has been super, super helpful for me is the email notification when a student signs in. And now it's not every single time somebody signs in you get an email. No, 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 no. It's only when someone signs in and you have not started the meeting. So even if you had your meeting, your class meeting in the day and you ended it, if somebody signs in again, it lets you know. Is really helpful because we have office hours and I don't really want to sit there on my computer on Zoom waiting for somebody to come for hours every day. No, I don't do that. I end the meeting and it lets me know in an email notification if somebody logs in, which then tells me, oops, there's someone on there, and I can start the meeting again and let them in and we can talk. And you're not just sitting there on camera, because I can't be the only one who feels a little uncomfortable with that, right? It's just a little weird. So anyways, enable that email notification because it's actually really helpful. Alrighty, that is it. I know that was a lot, but if you're new to this, these are things that you need to know about. You probably didn't even know. They're just all listed in the settings, and it has just made my time on Zoom so much easier. I can't imagine not having all these options. So anyways, I really hope that this helps you. And if you know someone who is using Zoom, maybe not even a teacher, but whether they're a teacher or not, this could be very helpful. So share it with them. Share it with whoever you think could benefit from this, because we all need this right now. So anyways, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!